axing out a blank. I'm not going to teach flat spoons, and we're going to go straight for cranks. Putting a crank into a spoon turns it from a two-dimensional object into a three-dimensional object. So you have to start thinking in 3 dimensions, not 2. I've got a nice thick piece of already dressed billet. We're going to crank down here. We're going to come down. We're going to put a nice deep crank in it. This is approximately where the end of the handle is going to be. So we're going to come across like that, and this is where the bowl is going to be, like that, and that is probably about the right size. Let's take it a little bit further, that way, and a slightly longer handle. There's a couple of ways you can cut and set the depth of your crank here. You can use a saw and you can cut straight down to it and then axe out this bit and that bit. I'm going to go straight for it and axe it out with my axe. So it's about there. When you start axing in, don't just hack into the same spot all the time. You've got to give the fibres somewhere to go to get out of the way. So start from where you think that's where we're going to be. That's the deepest part of the bowl is going to be there. Start about 25 millimeters or an inch closer to the bowl rim, and then work your way back, probably 6 millimeters at a time. Work your way backwards. This gives the axe somewhere to go and your crank will get progressively deeper, like so. Turn it on its side. Axing. You don't want to lose any fingers, okay? So you can't have the axe flopping all over the place. There's three hinge points. There's the shoulder, the elbow, and the wrist. Most of the control comes from the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder. The shoulder does nothing, so we need to take that out of the equation. The elbow we want to move vertically with no sideways movement. So lock your upper arm against your rib cage, or against the side of your body, so it can't move. Using just your forearm and your wrist, get down over it so that you've got full control, and then just start slicing out. You can see that my hands and my arm are well out of the way. We're going to follow the making of this spoon all the way through, and that includes facets and little decorative bits and pieces. I'm going to give away all my secrets. Now you can see nice and deep. Now nobody likes a spoon that goes oop, 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 and over there, so we've got to take this high spot out. Again, lie it on its side, make sure your axe block's clear, coming down across the grain. Now it might seem counterintuitive to be going across the grain, but if you try coming down the grain like that and you miscue and your axe skids off, there's only one place it's going to go, and that's straight into your bowl, and you're going to end up with a flat spoon very quickly. So let's just, working across the grain, taking off slices 2 millimeters thick, something like that, maybe a bit more if the wood is forgiving. You can see we're just taking slices off. Native cherry. I'm in Australia, by the way, so when I say cherry I don't mean fruiting cherry, I mean Australian native cherry. An important source of vitamin C for the original inhabitants of this land. Birds love them. They're very small. You wouldn't really call them a cherry. Small, red, and grows on a tree, so it must be a cherry. That's what the Captain Cook and his cohort thought. Joseph Banks and people like that. Pardon me if I waffle on when I'm carving. One crank. You can see where that's going to go. The definition of a crank is the angle here between the bowl and the handle. A crank spoon is defined by 2 lines, one from the end of the handle down to the deepest part of the bowl, from the deepest part of the bowl up to the front of the bowl rim. Quick check that way, have a look down and make sure that this surface and this surface are the same. Otherwise you'll have a spoon that does that. And that can make for an interesting dinner experience. That just needs taking out. If you're new to axing, not only do you lock your arm in, get your shoulder over it, your eye should be looking straight down on the axe, and you can see it going straight up and down in that respect there. But the handle, this is your gear change. If you need to shift wood, you need to get power, you get down towards the end of the handle. If you want control, right up here next to the axe. Even put your fingers on the side to keep it so that you can do nice vertical cuts. Now before we go on to the next little clip, which will be marking out the spoon and cutting it out, we're going to shift some of the bulk off this. We don't need all that, so we're going to shift that. Now, it's hard work trying to shift all of that if you just go wailing in on the back here. Always try to keep the amount of wood you're shifting to a minimum. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up this handle. We're going to do some relief cuts, and then we're just going to shave them off. Relief cuts, and never come above 2/3 of the blank. This is where your hand is. Keep your hand out of the way, no thumb, Don't put your thumb over there like that or wrap your fingers around like that, because that's where your axe is coming down. Like that. This is where you can have a play. You can see that I've just cut a slightly curved edge on there. As the axe is hitting, as soon as you feel it bite, just push the head sideways and it will bounce off the bevel and come out. You'll get a nice curvy cut. Play with that, but that's down the track if you're just starting. Don't worry about that. You see my hand just dropped back probably 25-30 millimeters, and I can really feel the difference. Now we've created a ridge in the middle, we'll take that out. That miscue is why you always stick to the middle of your block or the far side when you're giving it a bit of welly, because if it does come off and you're on the edge, it's going to miss the block and it's going to be into your leg. So keep your leg out of the way, keep in the middle of the block or over to the back side of it. That'll do for now. We'll take a bit off the front. Take that corner off. Take that corner off. Take that corner off. Cool. Billet, blank, what is it? Don't know, something in between at the moment, but it's definitely looking spoony. Nice bit of wood. Look at that. Nice. Talk to you soon.